good?
A laser sword.
And she would sit on it. And then after that, we would on this chair. Boys, we was talking about Lupa.
I'm glad you chose to tell me this, Aemeath.
I would give her back shots on these stairs, and she would sit on it. And then after that, we would on this chair. And then I would get in this bed, and I would lay the pipe down, brother. Final attack. Final flash, bro. Straight up, bro. Solar flare on them titties.
Bro, you were hammered? What? I've been sober for the past hour and a half.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, the time has arrived. Yes, the video that you thought might have never actually been made on my channel is in fact getting made. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our breakdown of the Wuthering Waves 3.1 Smack Story Quest playthrough. And if I were to describe what I'm seeing on this screen over here, the main word that I would use is a disaster, especially after you'll have an opportunity to see all of the clips from this playthrough, along with all of the context that I've dug to make sure that I'm getting the story right. And of course, probably the most damning thing of all when it comes to this entire playthrough, the most diabolical dislike ratio possibly in the Wuthering Waves space. I have never seen a video disliked this much before. 4,800. This is possibly the most disliked video in Wuthering Waves history. And as you can see over here, the lashings continued over into the comments section. And there's a reason why the comments are literally turned off. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot comment on this video, and he locked these a while ago. However, this is the main visible measure that we have with all the comments gone, right? This is the main visible measure that we have about how much people hated this playthrough. And out of a favor to Smack over here, one thing that I didn't do was react to this. One thing that I didn't do was actually break down why there was so much drama surrounding this absolute shit show of a main story quest, because I was doing it out of favor to him. But then Gacha Smack went ahead and he made the brilliant decision to crash out on a stream just 2 days ago, where he leaked my DMs in a prior stream 2 months ago. So that made it the second time he leaked my DMs. And then he also doxed me by showing photos scrubbed from my non-public social media in an attempt to get back at me over Wuthering Waves anniversary takes. And naturally, right, you can imagine, there's no real coming back from this one, right? There's really not a bridge anymore. If I were to describe what Gacha Smack did, he didn't burn a bridge. He inverted it, turned it upside down, and made that bridge go to hell instead. Naturally, it's time for us to get our due, because Smack farmed like crazy over this one, much like how he always does whenever he uses my name, and as a result, why don't we get our payback? Why don't we get a little bit of the farming? And well, we've got the equivalent of a gacha loot pinata over here with this one, ladies and gentlemen, and I am very excited to take you all on this ride as we explore just how stinky what he said actually is. Just before we begin, I'm doing Smack a favor by reacting to this video, even though I know he's already burned the bridge, because Smack's on the record saying stuff about what my response was going to be.
After that, Saint's gonna talk about probably my 3.1 take, probably gonna talk about some shit I don't even remember from way back in the day, bro.
One thing I don't want to do in this situation, ladies and gentlemen, is make Gacha Smack a liar. So let's react to that 3.1 take. Alrighty, so the first clip that we got over here, ladies and gentlemen, is, in my opinion, the weirdest one of them all. I want to highlight that statement that Smack said before right here. Some shit he doesn't even remember from back in the day. The reason why Smack doesn't remember, or the likely reason why Smack doesn't remember, is because this dude was absolutely sloshed during this playthrough. I don't think I've ever seen somebody in the history of gaming do a story quest while they were this drunk. Let's just listen to what's transpiring over here.
It's good. Hit the space on them boys, you know what I'm saying?
Nuh-uh, they love playing with me. Why else would they crawl over and play before running away?
Files.
They're making a joke about the Rover files. I do believe that that's supposed to be sort of like in line with like the Epstein files. I think that's what like the reference is too. So like that's the first joke that we lead in with over here while we got child Aemeath on the screen. Do you see why this video has so many dislikes? Yeah, maybe he's just being humorous. Let's keep listening, right? And like let's give him a little bit of leeway over here. I know the dude doxed me, but we're still gonna try to represent the information in an objective manner.
Hey, yeah, to be honest, hey, they ain't got shit to do with me, bro. You know what I'm saying? It ain't my story, bro. It's the Rover story. I ain't the nigga going to high school, goddamn 3,000 years old, nigga. This.
So remember what I said about him being giga drunk during this stream, and so that's why it's very likely he doesn't actually remember what he even said here, bro. What language was he speaking here?
Hey, yeah, to be honest, hey, they ain't got shit to do with me, bro. You know what I'm saying? It ain't my story, bro. It's the Rover story. I ain't the nigga going to high school, goddamn 3,000 years old, nigga. This the Rover. What the fuck? They ain't got shit to do with me, brother.
So basically, what he talking about over here is that he's not the Rover, right? He's not self-inserting into the character, and so he's allowed to have any type of like affection or like interest or, you know, like good ability, right, to any character he would like. I got no issues at all with this take. What I do think is just a little bit weird over here is what he decides to say next, especially considering where we are in the story. This is Rover and Aemeath's childhood house, where Aemeath is being raised over here by a parental Rover figure. And so I get the perspective of, yo, I ain't Rover. I ain't this 3,000-year-old dude, right? I don't need to abide by this whole sort of like social norms, conditions, whatever. But just listen to this.
Yeah, all I'm doing is an innocent bystander watching them cheeks. You know what I'm saying?
Is that something you need to say during this section of the quest? Like, I understand, right, that his viewpoint isn't wrong, but like, is that something that you want to say during this part of the quest? Probably not, because it's kind of weird as fuck. It's weird as hell, if I'm gonna be honest, especially when you just made a joke about the Epstein files. Not even 20 seconds ago. You see it right here, the word files. Rover files. I know the transcription is wrong. Bro, you just made a joke about the Epstein files in relation to Rover, and now you do I even need to like really dive into this one much more? Because again, our goal here for today, right, is to talk about why people hated this story playthrough so fucking much. And yes, I have done a fair bit of defense over here for Smack, right, when it comes to the whole, you know, and the validation of his take that he ate the Rover, so he don't need to abide by that. But like, bro, why you gotta talk about watching them cheeks when there's a kid on the screen and you just made an Epstein joke? Like, why would you do that? And this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is the take. I am trying to give an explanation for why Gacha Smack would do or say this. And my explanation is the one that I led into this breakdown with. Dude was drunk as fuck and saying some crazy out-of-pocket shit that, honestly, I bet he wishes he could take back. And he has self-admitted, right, on his Crashout live stream on me,
After that, Saint's gonna talk about probably my 3.1 take. Probably gonna talk about some shit I don't even remember from way back in the day, bro.
And you want to know what Smack is seen doing in this Crashout stream? He is seen imbibing liquor. He is seen actively drinking alcoholic beverages during this broadcast as well, which is questionable, right? It's simply a questionable thing to do, I imagine, after you got yourself into this much shit doing the exact same thing. But this is the thing. It gets worse, guys. It gets worse because at this point, we only 4 hours into the quest. And you might be asking, well, how much drink could one man drink if a man could drink? Basically, what I'm saying over here is he gets more drunk throughout the playthrough. Yeah, so let's finish up this clip over here. There might not be anything left, but I do want to make sure I'm doing my due diligence. Maybe he explains himself here.
And my lessons... You promised me another level of split stars. No takebacks.
That's crazy though. Like, so basically, like what I'm getting here is that like Rover was a unk to her, basically, bro.
I want to learn how you folded that thing first.
So this is acknowledgement from him that Rover is their caretaker, their adoptive parent.
Can you show me, pretty please?
Rover was basically a fucking unk to her, bro. The Smack file's gonna be crazy. Well, that's impossible because I'm not in the game, nigga. That's Rover in the game, little bro. Talking about the Smack files. I don't take back nothing, bro. Bro was busting cheeks up in that thing with the grown version, bro. You know? I ain't the nigga in the game. That's Rover in the game, little bro. You must got me mistaken.
Mine always know.
Yeah, I feel like at a certain point you just like shouldn't really take this one that much further. But like I mean, he's certainly entitled to, right? It's his playthrough, right? It's his stream, right? So like he's free to get like as absolutely loaded up as he wants on the beverages. And I'm glad, right? I'm super glad he clarified the grown-up version. But like I said, it's just a really odd out-of-pocket joke to make while you're on like a flashback where you're like going through how like her childhood. Think about it this way. Imagine you're like at your girlfriend's house with her parents and like you're flipping through her like childhood photos with like the family, and then like you start like you guys get where I'm going with this, or like maybe not even like her parents, right? You're like, you got like friends with you or something, and you're like flipping through your girlfriend's childhood photos, and it would just be weird, right? This is kind of like the same thing, if I'm going to be honest. Right? Like, yes, I know your girlfriend in the present is an old, mature woman, but like this is a flashback in the game, and you talking about clapping them cheeks. Do you see now why this story playthrough was so universally hated by, I mean, like, I don't even know. Like, this might even be understating the number of dislikes too. It could be closer to 5,000 if I'm frankly being real. This is an odd, bad look. And my take on this one is, I'm surprised the story playthrough is still up. Because this is not necessarily like the front foot forward image that I would want to be presenting to the community. I don't even think that I would ever get imbibed enough in the first place to be able to even say this. My main take on this when it comes to myself is that you couldn't waterboard this out of me. And Smack gave it for free. I think that's gonna be clip number 1 over here. I think he just keeps on going and like talking about how like he ate Rover like 30,000 years old, like keeps like talking about that stuff. I think he kind of just keeps like waffling. I don't really see any more reason to keep watching this one. Now let's move on to this next clip over here. And this is actually a clip that's gotten a lot of traction over on Twitter. But one of the realities of this splice clip over here, or not really spliced, it's from one of my streams, is that it doesn't actually present the full context. Because there's a before and an after when it comes to this stuff. But I do want to warn you, this is a rough, tough watch. So just keep that in mind, but I will be explaining the additional context as we go along to make sure that I'm giving the guy, even though he doxed me for over Wuthering Waves anniversary takes, I'm giving the guy that did all of that stuff to me, leaked my DMs, all this, I'm still giving him a fair shake. So let's listen to this one, see how this one goes. This is right as Rover is entering the childhood home of Aemeath. And remember, the flashbacks for the caretaker pieces, all of that stuff, it begins where Rover is confirmed as Aemeath's adopted parent.
And holding in this economy.
I'm just getting the transcript pulled up so we can make sure we know what's
like
being
I need
said.
a good one.
I'll stay outside and keep watch, just in case Sigillum comes back. You rest. Don't go anywhere, okay?
Hold on. If I'm gonna rest, I need some company. I need some snuggles. Last time I was...
So this is the part where a lot of people have gotten context confused. Right here, my interpretation is, if I'm going to rest, I need some company, I need some snuggles. I do believe he's referring to Aemeath here, because he clearly outlines Lupa in this situation as, well, last time he was in this setting. And in-game, Lupa was the last time you were kind of like in a sort of like hotel room, and I believe like the Leonidas Hotel or something like that over in Septimont. So we gotta focus on this line.
I'm gonna rest. I need some company. I need some snuggles. Last time I was in a setting like this, I had a fat booty bitch named Lupa. And she wanted me to give her some back shots. And we was putting on some Netflix and chill right here. And she was tipsy. Yeah, I remember that shit. I ain't forget.
And I do believe that this is where the sort of like reference back to Lupa ends. And don't worry, we've got a follow-up clip that provides even more context that this is the case. Smack will tell you otherwise, though. But remember, this can all sort of just be explained by this dude being drunk as a skunk and saying some really out-of-pocket stupid shit.
What the fuck is this pad, bro? This pad goes crazy, nigga. What the fuck, bro?
And one thing I want to have you guys focus on is his chat. Yep, she's more like a daughter.
Brother.
That's the message that we see over there, just right there.
What the fuck is this pad, bro? Look at...
Stop. Oh no. Stop. Oh no.
These stairs. I would give her back shots on these stairs while the fire
Oh no.
is in the background making those love...
Because this is what everyone in his chat is thinking. Everyone in his chat is thinking that he's talking about Aemeath here. And when you know the context of where this area is, it is invoking a very strong response of please stop from his chat.
Lovely sounds. Then I would carry her up to these stairs.
God damn, homie, get out of my ears. Is that from his mod? Is his mod saying get out of my ears? That's, I'm gonna be honest, your own mod calling you out and saying get out of my ears while you're on this segment is crazy. And then we get another comment, Epstein Island. Bruh, what? So he getting called out by his mod and he getting called out by multiple chatters too at the same time. This is because everybody here assumes he's talking about Aemeath. And he kinda is, because he ended that callback to Lupa, right? Last time I was here, me and Lupa, we was chilling, right? The Netflix and chill, all of that, right? He ended that. And remember what he led with. I'ma need some snuggles. I'ma need some... We got all that context. And his chat is all under the same impression that I listed out for you guys at the start.
While the fire is in the background making those lovely sounds. Then I would carry her up to these stairs. Get a fucking lunge in while I'm at it. Get some quad work in, some hamstrings. And then I would put her on this table.
Oh, nah.
And I would fucking stroke.
Bro is about to regret this. Smack, no, you can't with her. Don't say that, Smack. Wait till he finds out.
Even further, bro. Then I would put her on these guys.
I mean, he got his own chatters calling him Epstein. I'm gonna be honest, what do you have to be doing for your own chatters to be calling you Epstein? I feel like you should take that as a sign to maybe just chill. That's my honest personal take. You got your own chatters calling you Epstein. multiple times. This is probably a good moment to do some quick reflection and maybe hit the pause button. But again, right? I can rationalize this, at least to myself, right? I can rationalize this by him just really being in the zone because he sloshed, right? A little bit too drunk to hit the brakes properly in this situation when he's being given every single sign in his chat. Yo, you should like slow down over here, brother, and like pause. Like he just being told by chat, pause, like pause. I'm not saying you gotta listen to your chat for everything, right? But sometimes your chat can really, I think, give that alternative perspective that can help out a lot.
Goddamn, what are these, bro? Like goddamn beanbag chairs, and she would sit on it, and then after that, we would fuck on this chair.
This is the part that I feel like is just really bad because he's literally in Aemeath's childhood room while saying all this stuff. You see that there's like the coloring books in the corner, there's the beanbag, there's all of that, and like this is like clearly designed as like a child's room. Like this doesn't look like a grown-up's, or like this doesn't look like the family bedroom. This just looks like this looks like a kid's room. And like I said before, I think he's just too locked in, too like in the zone to realize that, and is just like going off on this like mission. Cause like I just, it's odd not to catch this stuff as it's happening.
And then after that,
because like here you see a literal stuffed animal with a mini Aemeath. That's a little Aemeath reading a book with the stuffed cat. That is a mini Aemeath plushie reading a storybook, a children's storybook with a giant stuffed plushie cat. That's objectively what's on the screen. Like I'm not even like, I'm not minimizing, I'm not sugarcoating. That is what's there on the screen.
we would go to the bed. I get that creepy ass cat. I kick that nigga off this fucking balcony because that nigga's creepy as shit. Bro, look like he belongs in Persona. Get your fat head ass out of here, brother, while I'm out here getting my third nut in.
I'm so sorry, bro. Bro is drunk. Bro will eat his words. I'm getting lit. OMG LMAO. Alright, bro, chill. He need to not drink his drink, LOL. I'm just reading out what his own chat is telling him. I'm just reading out what his own chat during the broadcast in the playthrough was telling him.
And then I would get in this bed and I would fucking lay the pipe down, brother. Final fucking attack. Final flash, bro. Straight up, bro. Solar flare on them titties. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. I don't know what you're saying.
DLC over here on this counter. DLC, bro. Can we crouch? Right there. Yeah, right there.
And so maybe you could have used the excuse before, like he didn't know that this was like a kid's desk because he was like only here like really shortly. And like, you know, he was only there for like a couple of seconds before, then he moved on, like went to the bed and stuff. But like he like came back for round 2 and was able to get like another look at everything here. So like, yeah.
That's what I would give her there, bro. That's the special technique. Special technique right there, bro. Yeah, you ain't never seen that shit before. All right, cool.
Yeah, none of us ever seen that shit before. No, that is 1000%. That is 1000% a fact over here. We ain't never seen that shit before.
Let's continue on, bro. Just saying, man. All right, boys, now that we got it together.
That was the segment over here. And one of the end results of that segment was that there was a big sort of like push over on Twitter to go like cancel Smack. people who are sensitive to sexual content or have dealt with sexual trauma in the past, please don't watch this. I think that this dude is just gooning way too fucking hard over and like not reading his chat and stuff. And I think it's like very obvious from like the response from his own community in that live stream. Like, yeah, he probably should have toned it down quite a bit. The take over here is that he's some sort of like demon and stuff like that with what's going on. I don't necessarily agree with that take, right? My take over here is that this was a completely preventable incident. It's kind of just fucking ridiculous, but it's also going to make a lot of people think, bro, like, how does this even happen in the first place? Like, is this like a normal occurrence that happens during like the Smack streams? Like the general take is that you've got to be pretty fucked up in terms of like how much alcohol you've drank, right? You got to be like pretty fucked up to say all this stuff. And especially when you're talking about doing all of those things that he described with like the beanbag and the desk and like the final combo is Final Flash. What I don't want to talk about it too much, right? He's doing all these things to Aemeath, or says he wants to do all those things to Aemeath. And when you're saying that in the context of this being Aemeath's childhood home, and Rover, right, the character he's controlling, we've already established he separates himself from Rover as the character, right? He's still walking around and like doing all of this and like, you know, doing the where is it the special technique,
bro? That's the special technique.
It's still Rover doing it on the screen, right? And it's so the end result is that yes, you can announce your separation, but it's kind of hard to fully separate it under that context. And there have been people defending the idea that Smack actually, or instituting the idea, right, that Smack isn't actually talking about Aemeath here, right? Because at the start of this segment, like I mentioned before, he's actually talking about Lupa, right? Because over here, he said, last time I was in a setting like this, I had Lupa, and she wanted me to give her, you know, all this stuff, right? But then that flashback, that's where the reference ends, and it's kind of clear he's talking to Aemeath, and every person in his chat thinks he's talking about Aemeath. That's why there's such a strong visceral response of every person telling him to shut the fuck up and stop drinking. If he was truly referencing Lupa over here, would there have been that much of a response that's just completely lopsidedly telling him to fucking stop? No. But there are people trying to cleanse this, right? There are people trying to justify this. This is what I call misinformation. And the unfortunate part is that Smack has a big social media presence. He's got a lot of fatherless viewers that really, really, really want to ensure that he's portrayed in the best light possible. And unfortunately, the Nigerian perspective over here has been convinced that Smack was talking about Lupa the whole time, even leads into delivering some insults. And this is the thing. I don't blame the Nigerian perspective at all for having this take, because Smack is one of the most misinformative CCs on the platform when it comes to defending his past takes and defending his name. And the only evidence that you need of that is the fact that he locked the comments so that people can't talk about this playthrough, put the timestamps, critique him, all of that stuff. His goal is to spread misinformation. His goal is to hide his own wrongdoings. And one of the ways that he's done that is to just straight up lie to his audience and say that he was actually talking about Lupa the whole time. He was not talking about Lupa the whole time. But unfortunately, that amount of misinformation has spread to such a high degree that at surface level, it's very easy to think that that's what he was doing. But that's a cop-out. It's a fake excuse that he calculated live on stream after realizing how fucking weird he was. And to anyone, right, minimizing how odd this segment was, why don't we see what Smack himself realized after some reflection? And this is where the contradictions are really going to start piling up, and this is where the expose is going to get really spicy.
Keep this up, and it won't be long before there isn't anyone left in the Frostlands to play with.
Boy, what the hell?
Yeah, that's kind of a, oh shit, that's not good. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Even he knows. In his debuff state, with this many alcoholic beverages in him, he knows he fucked up.
Have you finished your lessons? You start school soon. Maybe spend less time gaming,
Notice how he takes the game off the screen to get Child Aemeath off the screen. And we're gonna watch this long, awkward pause in its entirety together.
Boys, we was talking about fucking Lupa.
Really? Is anyone going to believe that? Genuinely. Is that even slightly believable? No, it's not. This is the clearest admission that anyone could make that they got caught saying some weird fucking shit. A silence that long with looks like that, and of course, the what the hell, boy? That he interjects with right as this segment begins, or boy, what the hell? That is the clearest admission anybody could make. But of course, he goes into defense mode.
Boys, we was talking about fucking Lupa. You know what I'm saying? Lupa fat booty ass came over to our new hotel and we was giving that bitch mad back shots. Her tail was like wagging and shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking her on the couch. You know what I'm saying? On the ceiling, bro.
Press X to doubt. Just press X to doubt, bro. Like,
she entered her forte circuit, nigga. She gave us that like crazy Lupa smile. Shit was insane, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was wild, bro.
And I think he even giggles a little bit too, because he knows that like that's the most unbelievable shit ever. Doesn't that make this sort of cop-out over here and the narrative that's being presented that he was actually talking about Lupa? That just seemed, it's ridiculous, right? But this is the thing, like I mentioned before. Misinformation is Smack's game. He is possibly the most unreliable narrator in the gacha space. And the fact that he's managed to convince people that he was talking about Lupa the whole time is kind of just absurd. It shows just how unreliable he's been his entire career, if we're frankly going to be honest, and calls into question a lot of the takes, a lot of the beliefs that you might be having about him as a creator. And like I said before, I don't blame the Nigerian perspective over here for having this take, because Smack's community is big. They are fierce, and they are loyal. I think he just got duped. I think he just got conned, and Smack is the reason for it. And so, unfortunately, the Nigerian perspective is going to take a reputational hit for this one, for going to bat for Smack, and unfortunately, spreading lies on his behalf, because he was misinformed. But when Smack utilizes misinformation as such a strong weapon in his career, and you've actively seen it live, well, when we get together all the evidence, right, and we get together all the glue, and we show you the proof, it's not a good look. And this is the thing. I'm providing these CCs the opportunity to amend their takes. I'm providing them the opportunity to, obviously, correct any wrongdoing, and of course, inform themselves on what the truth actually is regarding this matter. Because the truth is, he got caught.
Have you finished your lessons? You start school soon. Maybe spend less time gaming,
I don't know if after seeing this segment, there's any other take you can make regarding this situation. He got caught saying some weird fucking shit. Really weird shit. And then quickly backtracked and came up with a bullshit excuse that that wasn't what he was doing the whole time. And when you know that this is the same guy that was basically getting every warning in Gacha history to just chill the fuck out and stop talking. From almost every chatter that sent a message, they were all saying like, bro, don't do this. And he chose not to do anything with that anything with that privilege. So are you guys beginning to see, again, how this is the most disliked video in Wuthering Waves history? Are you guys beginning to see how much of a, well, boon, how much of an asset it was for Gacha Smack to have no real CCs cover his playthrough? Because this has been marinating, ladies and gentlemen, since February 4th. February 4th, 2026. Over 2 months, we've let this one cook. And boy, oh boy, it is not looking very good, is it? Because we've got even more clips, right? And when you look at the timeline over here, do keep in mind that this expose and this backtracking, it makes this previous clip we looked at even worse. Bro's talking about, like, clapping the cheeks, right? Oh, he ain't Rover, all of that good shit right there, right? Keep in mind that this is at 4:35:16. This section over here is at 4:37:56. So this is after he just got into this disaster. He's talking about all of this stuff, right?
Bro was busting cheeks up in that thing with the grown version.
Like, this is just within 2 minutes of him having a complete disaster occur on his stream. And then he's talking about, like, clapping cheeks and stuff. Like, can we at least wait until the childhood flashbacks stop, bro? Like, I mean, it's just, like, surely, especially after we just had that close call with whatever that was right before. Is it truly, right? This just happened. And then we're getting right back into it over here with almost no cooldown. It's just at a certain point, like, can we just... I think I've said my piece for this one. I've already said this was weird as hell. But this is basically just showing that this dude doubles down by going even further, talking about clapping them cheeks, how he ain't the Rover, all of that, right? And it just further confirms that he was talking about Aemeath the whole time. Because he feels the need to defend himself, right? He feels the need to defend all the shit he was doing here. Here we go.
He belongs in persona.
He feels the need to defend that. That's why he starts getting into the whole, I ain't the Rover, I ain't that 3,000-year-old high school student, whatever, doing all of that. Would he do that and go this far to sort of like cleanse himself of responsibility? Would he be doing that, ladies and gentlemen, if he was talking about Lupa the whole time?
Boys, we was talking about fucking Lupa, you know?
Probably not, right? Probably not. And I think that that's obvious for anyone that's looked at all of the clips we've seen here. Because I've showed you just how close together. 4:35:46 is what he says it's not Lupa. And then he already back at it, bro. Not even 3 minutes later. Now, let's keep going. We've got even more clips, ladies and gentlemen. And this one is occurring over an hour and a half after this situation. We've got it's like an hour and like a third. We have a 5 hour, 42 minute, 57 second timestamp over here. Let's listen to this one. This is when Rover is going through Aemeath's kind of like mind palace, right? Where she's seen like crashing out, talking about all the work, all the effort that she was doing to like save Rover, allow them to get home, do all of that. Mentions all the sacrifices that Rover's been making and how she wants to be a good daughter, right? And help Rover out. The whole like black cat thing, the black cat reveal, all that stuff is here.
Yeah, that's insane. I'll be real, boys. That doesn't even look like that does not look like a daughter-son relationship. I'll be honest with you, man. That looks like a girl in love with this guy, bro.
He just keeps going.
And not in a fucking family way.
I'm so glad he specified that.
I must destroy it before it spills the truth. I'm just keeping a stack, boys. All right, that don't look like no family, no daughter, fucking.
What I have to imagine is going on over here is that the realization of his fuck up during this solar flare segment that he had and the furniture, whatever, right? His realization of that fuck up was like so immense. He just can't stop interjecting with how like right his take actually is. With how like it was actually like fine for him to have said what he had said. Because I think he realizes on like a second analysis, right? If anyone were to cover this, bro just looks like a fucking goonerific freak. Honestly, a disgusting freak, if I'm frankly going to be honest. And so he just spends the rest of the story playthrough continually defending his initial viewpoint, the whole time interjecting with comments like this throughout the playthrough. And like I said before, he's fully entitled to do that. He is fully allowed to run his stream in whatever way he wants. And clearly, with that freedom, he's decided to make the most disliked video in Wuthering Waves history. And remember, the objective for us today is to simply outline and explain why the Wuthering Waves community globally hated this react so fucking much. I'm not here to defend Smack. I'm not here to outline or really even indict him either. I'm here to explain to you why everyone else hated this fucking thing. Because that's a fact. People really did not like this playthrough. And so, with that context in mind, right, that makes comments like this really, really, really funny. This is a dumb argument, Saint. Stop being disingenuous, pull me up. There's no argument to make here. We're talking about factual statements. We're talking about how people hate this fucking react, hate this playthrough, and I'm telling you the reasons for why they don't like it. And so you're out here, right, kind of like under this impression that I'm like crafting a hit piece against him. The reality here is I'm stating this is more like a case study. This is more of like an explanation for what has already happened because this playthrough is 2 months old. So get out of here with that shit. What, do you think there's some way that you could defend this? Do you think you or anyone could make like a deep breakdown and analysis of how Gacha Smack is actually misunderstood over here and that he was right the whole time? Guys, that's a tough sell. But I encourage anyone to take that position and go for it.
Doesn't look like no daughter dad little shit right there, bro. I'm gonna be honest. She looks deeply in love with this guy, man.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that Aemeath does love Rover, but not in the way that Gacha Smack keeps insinuating.
I brought it into this world. I'll be the one to take it out, too.
Okay.
Nothing truly matters. Not even...
Wait, let me see over here. I think he's drawing some comparisons over to Frolova. Great. I guess he's talking about like, great. I think he actually does some decent story analysis over here. Wait, that's a surprise.
Oh, like nigga, this is literally the same as Frolova. The difference is who she's directing that Frolova love for.
Actually, not a bad analysis over here. Like, and the thing is that I feel like if he wasn't so stun-locked over defending himself, there would have been more of this in the quest, and this video would have likely been more well-received.
Yeah, I'll be real with you, buddy boy. If you think she's different from Frolova, she's not. Same conviction.
Yeah. Hey, we'll show that there was... This entire playthrough was not like the entire thing wasn't a steaming pile of shit. This is more like a gigantic piece of shit with like a couple nuggets of like gold in it.
It's just towards Rover. Nigga said Frolova with no ore. Well, I mean, hey man, she loves Rover. I'll be real. She's got a love for Rover that goes deeper than any other character I've seen. I'll tell you that.
Okay, all right. Is there anything more over here that we need to take a look at? I don't particularly think so. Yeah, I don't particularly think so. So we'll leave that one on a bit of a positive note for Smack, showing that this entire story quest wasn't just gooning on his end. There were some moments of actual story analysis. It's simply that I assume they were a little bit too few and too far in between. Smack's chatter has responded. You're making a mountain out of a molehill when bro didn't even have complete information about the story. And that would be a fair response to make, and I'm sure the community would be more understanding if Smack, during this segment over here, simply apologized and said, boys, I fucked up. But instead, he tried to snake his way out of it by saying it was Lupa the whole time when it's clear he's just lying to cover himself. And so the idea and the take that you presented over here, right, that, well, it's not actually that big of a deal because he didn't have the complete information, I would recognize that and say you're valid if he had apologized for what he said he made a mistake, and that, like, yeah, that wasn't good, especially now that we know the relationship that these two had. No, that was not a good look, guys. But he didn't do that. He tried to shirk responsibility by claiming it was Lupa the whole time and just lied through his teeth while doing it. And like I mentioned before, right, we're talking in the past tense here. I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. No, bitch, look at the dislikes on this video. The molehill's already been made. Sorry, the mountain's already been made. It's no molehill. It's already done and over with. We're reporting on it 2 months later. Don't be out here saying that I am like the person that caused this or did this and created this response. But you're trying to pin the blame on me for something that happened 2 months ago. And like I mentioned before, right? Smack's community thrives on misinformation. Smack's community thrives on false, unreliable narratives. And we've already had a narrative introduced over here by one of his community members, implying that I am the one that is somehow at fault over here. Would it be as entertaining if he had apologized? I'm sorry, how is that point relevant? I'm just wondering, how is that point relevant when we're looking at this 2 months later? Anyways, like I mentioned before, there are a lot of fatherless chatters that are at the point where these questions, right, would be making a lot more sense if I had maybe reacted to this in this manner the day after his playthrough, right? And then I would have had potentially some sort of role in constructing the dislike, right? The hate towards this react, because then I would have been directly involved. But when I'm somebody in this situation that's reacting 2 months later, the take, the hate, it's past tense. And so this approach over here from Gacha Smack's community is unfortunately really showing the lack of intelligence regarding this matter in my coverage over here. And it truly does show how immature and honestly stupid his audience actually is. So, yeah, good try. Maybe next time. All right. Maybe on a more updated video that we're going to be making about him, because it's currently open season on Smack. And don't worry, we won't be shielding him from his own bad takes anymore. We'll be taking full advantage of his inability to portray information very well to his audience. Because as you're seeing over here, he fucked up pretty bad throughout this entire 7-hour VOD. Now, we got an even further clip over here, 6 hours. And this is where really a lot of the viral dislike for Smack got centered on. It's his rather, if I were to make a word to describe it, it would be hyena-like. You'll see why.
There it is, boys. The Rizzler.
Remember how I said he's just constantly interjecting the whole time about, like, Rover and Aemeath being in love with each other and, like, being in a romantic relationship? Yeah, he just does it again here. Remember, most disliked video in Wuthering Waves history.
I'm glad you chose to tell me this, Aemeath.
So a lot of people clipped this and they were like, why is he doing that? Because I don't think there's an answer anywhere in the VOD for why he did this. If anything, you know how like GamerSupps does those sponsors, like where like the drink, right? The drink that somebody is actively drinking kind of like shows up in like that microwave render art. Like whatever Smack has been drinking this whole stream should do the same thing. Where like it shows like the Jack Daniels or like the Jameson or like whatever the fuck he drank to get himself into this state. It should just like pop up over here, do like a 360, then disappear. I'm just gonna be honest, cause like, how did this happen?
I knew that shit was coming, bro. Yeah, look at that nigga's face.
And like, the thing is that you kind of see me like laughing, smiling, and this is more of just like, just shock and like confusion, because like, I would like to know what is currently going through his head.
Oh shit, bro! I'm fucking crying.
like what was what was so funny that it like drove him to tears?
I'm fucking crying, bro. Oh, I'm fucking crying, bro. Ah, shit. Oh, I'm fucking crying, bro.
Maybe it would have helped. Maybe he would have gotten less dislikes if he like had explained anything that was going through his head at this moment. But it's kind of just been like, it's just been him laughing for like 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, let me get a drink of water.
Like, you need to rehydrate in the middle of that one too.
I knew. I knew that shit was coming. Oh, fuck, bro. Okay.
Okay, and then he like went for round 2, and now he's like literally out of his chair. And like there hasn't been like a single explanation of anything going on with like his thought process, like why he's doing this, why he's laughing so much, like what's so funny. Bro, how long has this part been? I'm kind of just like here just to like wait until I get an explanation. I think that's what we'll do. We'll like watch this until I get an explanation.
Oh shit, I'm fucking crying. That hard in a long time, bro. Oh shit. Oh, I gotta take a deep breath, bro. Oh, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, do you probably get I can see how this clip alone could get people disliking the entire playthrough. I think most people could understand, especially if you're somebody that liked the story, and 3.1 in CN, by the way, was the most highly concurrently viewed story in Gacha history. So a lot of people liked it and they wanted to see it.
Oh, my fucking head hurts, bro. Shit, man. I was not trying to laugh that hard, bro. Oh, I gotta drink some water, bro.
Oh, he got drink number 2. Hey, that's good. I'm glad he's hydrating.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long time, chat. I'll be honest.
I'm glad he's hydrating.
I'm serious, chat.
Is that water, though?
First time in my...
The reason why he laughed
I was memeing on Rover. You know what's funny? I wasn't even laughing at the circumstance. I was just laughing at Rover's face. Dead ass. That's all I was doing. I was just laughing at Rover's rizzling face. It wasn't even the scenario, bro. I was just dying laughing because Rover put on that bro. And I said this, chat. I think I need to stop playing with Mel Rover. I can't take that nigga serious, bro.
And he managed to blame it on the game. So the end result is that Smack takes no accountability for one of the most uncomfortable to watch segments I've ever seen in a story playthrough first. Backpedals. Says it was actually all because of Male Rover's face and his goofy design. Yeah, no, I'm not sure how the community took that one, but I don't think it was very good. That's what I would imagine. Let's keep listening over here. Maybe there's a different explanation.
My career, I've laughed that hard on stream. I've laughed a lot in my life, bro. And I've laughed harder, but on stream, I've never laughed that hard. I'm teary-eyed, bro. I was crying. Whew. Put this face on the thumbnail.
Kind of sounds right? He's laughing over here about the put the face on the thumbnail.
That shit got me, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think he's necessarily backtracking over here. I think it does seem to be consistent.
Oh, my back of my head hurts, bro. Oh.
It's just most people would view this to be a somewhat insane reaction that maybe came at a very bad part, especially considering that I think a majority of people are actually tearing up during this portion of the quest due to the emotional impact that was present.
They're playing the music and everything.
Oh. Right, like emotional music is currently playing in the background.
Okay, all right, let's continue. Okay.
And I think the part that maybe will cause maybe a lot of flack for that take, right, of it being Rover's face, is that one of the animations that you see over here is that Rover themselves is about to cry as they're saying this. Remember how I said most people that were playing this were crying? This shimmering sort of light that you see in their eyes, that's because there's like tears actively forming as this sentence is being said by Rover. Which, you know, basically the summary of this situation is that Smack reacted to one of the most emotional plot lines in this game by laughing like a hyena for about 5 minutes. Which, naturally, I do believe felt like a slap in the face to a good number of players that really like this quest. And remember, I talked about this being one of the most viewed, one of the most engaged with quests in Gacha history. And so many individuals said this is the best story quest they've ever played in a Gacha game before. And, well, now you got this clip over here going viral of this dude just, well, laughing at it for I guess a reason. And that's what he did over here, right? And naturally, this is all past tense. This has already happened. And people didn't like his explanation. People didn't like his reasoning. And so they disliked the fuck out of the video. Bit rough. But like I said before, that is the summary. We're doing a look back over here. We're explaining the reasoning for why this is the most disliked video in Wuthering Waves history. I'm not here to defend him. I'm not here to rationalize why he said that. And in fact, I think we did more than our due diligence by actually finding out why the fuck he even did this in the first place. Yeah, I think we did more than our due diligence over here to provide the explanation glue and all of that. Like I said, guys, I'm still going to give him a fair shake. Now, we got this clip over here from the ending of the quest. And this is where you can truly see firsthand just how drunk this guy is. Sorry, you've already seen it a bunch of times, but like it kind of like culminates over here because if you've ever drank before, alcohol tends to build up in the system, especially if you're not like flushing it out through like constant water consumption and stuff like that. And well, if you're continually drinking through a stream that's about 7 hours long, the end result is that you can get pretty toasted by the end of it.
That's the first quest I've played through in WuWa where I was just fucking confused, bro. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you.
He sounds sloshed here. And it's just really a bad look to be talking about how the quest was confusing while also sounding insanely drunk. Actively slurring his words. Blaming the game for a debuff that he voluntarily afflicted on himself. Because what does alcohol do? Ladies and gentlemen, it inhibits your ability to understand things. Like, that is not really rocket science. Everybody knows that.
Bro, you were hammered? Yeah, bro, I'll see you in 24 hours, dip.
Truth equals ban. I'm sorry.
Shit.
I'm sorry. That's hilarious. I will be real with you. That is objectively funny.
Like, bro, I hate when these retards try to find excuses for somebody's, like, sentiments.
Him saying this while sounding, like, so fucked up is just cinema, bro. It is comedic cinema. Like, bro, this is part of the reason for why people like Smack. His ego is just, like, so insane. It's almost impressive sometimes, right? It's like this dude could be holding a smoking gun, and next to him is a body filled with bullet holes, and he'll just straight up tell you he didn't do it. Like, I'm good, like that is the kind of, like, character that a lot of people can rally behind, right? It's just like, bro, just straight up will sometimes not give a fuck no matter how wrong he is. And this is, like, the perfect example of him doing it right here.
Like, get your dumb ass out my chat, bro. Like, what? Bitch, I've been sober for the past hour and a half, nigga.
So remember, this is the same guy that said it was actually Lupa the whole time. And as you're actively slurring your words and then say, I've been sober for the past hour. Oh. It's a bit of a tough sell. I'm going to be honest, he could work a little bit on his poker face. And I guess his poker voice, too.
Maybe 2 hours. The fuck are you
Ooh, that's a bit of a stretch.
waffling about? Anyways, man, like I said, this is precisely why I don't like stories and concepts revolving around, like, time loops and shit. It's like,
maybe the next time there's a story centered around time loops, he could attempt to interact with it while sober. Maybe that'll help with his understanding.
bro, that shit confused. It leaves too much room for loopholes and, like, just like bullshit, bro. I'm like, okay, what the fuck even happened, man? You know, and so, like, gotta go back, listen to this shit all over again, find the cop-outs and just, like, little, like, weird, I don't know, I've never been a fan of it. It always happens. And
yeah, Smack gotta go on his own mini Aemeath time loop, and then he could, like, possess himself right before he takes the first shot. Before this playthrough. And then go through it sober, and then he'll fully understand everything.
Yeah, it's just one of those, you gotta go back over it again.
The main takeaway over here is that he's blaming the story, he's blaming the writer, and he's blaming the concepts. When it's pretty clear to anyone that's watched this stream and looked at, again, even the limited number of clips that we had, it's very clear he was just drunk out of his fucking mind for many pieces of it, and his intoxication was what prevented him from likely understanding the main story beats. And there's entirely a possibility, right, out there, that his mental state following the consumption of this many alcoholic beverages had nothing at all to do with the understanding of this story. But I don't think a majority of the community bought that explanation when this is what the dislike ratio on the video looks like. Yeah, when this is what the dislike ratio of the video looks like, ladies and gentlemen, there's actually a decent chance, a decent possibility that people just simply did not buy his take at all, and they thought he was making a bunch of shit up and trying to shirk responsibility, dodge responsibility for his own personal fuck-ups. And people really viewed this as him refusing to take accountability for essentially everything that people had issues with in the playthrough, seeking some sort of out at every turn. And unfortunately, the end result of this, ladies and gentlemen, was one of the most destructive channel, well, responses I've ever seen in the space before, if I'm frankly going to be honest. And so I've got to actually go ahead over here and show you guys some of the information, show you guys some of like the actual outcomes of this. And this is where we'll get into a bit of a, you know, bit more like personal messaging and stuff when it comes to Gacha Smack and all of that. Let me go pull up this website over here. I do believe it's called Social Blade. And what this website allows you to do is take a look at some of the YouTube statistics of some of your favorite creators. And, well, lo and behold, what you'll have noticed over here, right, is that there was quite possibly the most destructive loss in subscribers I've ever seen a channel have, where over the month of February, Gacha Smack lost, oh, looks like, yeah, Gacha Smack lost over 3,000 subscribers during the month. Yeah, he lost 3,000 subscribers from one story playthrough, as well as farming 4.5k, 4.7, however many it is, dislikes right now. That is crazy. A lot of people like to think that in my dramas, right? Following the one with Mr. Pokey, following the one with Captain Cabinets, and of course the current active one with Smack right now, they're equating me losing 100, 200 subs to this guy losing 3,000 over one story quest playthrough. This is how much the community really did not buy into his attempts to dodge accountability. Or really, their belief that he was dodging accountability, right? We can't be certain. Maybe he is telling the truth in every single one of these circumstances over here, but if he is, I just have to assume this Gacha Smack is retarded. And I think it's actually better for me to assume that he's just lying the whole time to come up with some sort of explanation. Because the truth, when explained like this, is just fucking absurd. That his intoxication had nothing to do at all with any of the stuff he's saying, and that he would have said the same exact stuff without any of those beverages in him. That's the alternative, and maybe that's actually a fact. And if that's the case, then, well, I just personally think that's fucking crazy. And I don't think it would have helped the whole dislike situation very much either. We've gone through, we talked about, we've explained why this is possibly the most hated video in Wuthering Waves history. And this is the thing. Some of you might be thinking, Saint, you didn't have to do this. Saint, why'd you go ahead, say all this stuff about Gacha Smack? And this is going to be my response to anyone even thinking about that statement.
And I think Asmund would say this exact same thing if he was in any way affiliated with you. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Okay? You're not a victim. If you are willing to get into that arena and start swinging that fucking sword, and people start swinging back, you don't say, ref, why are they swinging at me? You don't jump out of the...
I don't want to hear any complaints from any member of Gacha Smack's community. I don't want to hear any complaints from Gacha Smack himself that I'm deciding to cover this. I don't want to hear any complaints from a man over here who is on the record doxing me, posting old pictures of me from my non-public social media over gacha takes.
The arena and go, hold on, man, this isn't fair. You stand on it.
I hope he follows his own words. It'd be a shame if he got caught dodging accountability again. But when you've seen so many pieces and bits and evidence over here of him doing that, and we've exposed every single one of them on this stream, the Lupa, I was just laughing at Rover's face. My mental state from the alcohol had nothing at all to do with my understanding of the story. Well, I hope the reasoning for him deciding to maybe break this principle over here, hopefully he comes up with the better one than the ones that we saw today. And now apparently there's even another clip over here. I think this is him defending why he romanticized Aemeath and Rover so much. And I'm making sure to get the full context over here for this one. Yeah, let's make sure we go back to like 1042 over here. I'm seeing something. Yeah, no, this one's skipping ahead a little bit.
Was doing shit.
Because like I said before, I'm willing to provide him the fairest shake possible. But when your takes are this bad, well, sometimes even a fair shake can't help you.
Chat, we're going to get to the funny parts. We're going to get to the funny parts of this, I promise. And
I'm going to speed him up a little bit because I'm kind of done seeing his goofy face on my screen. Hopefully y'all can understand.
I'm going to show how mad these people are. There's a lot of prefacing I have to do. I'm a father in real life. They're telling me I'm a bad father, by the way. And they're using me being a father in real life as if like my story consumption is so much more worse because I'm a father to a daughter in real life. How dare you, you piece of shit father to a daughter in real life, not enjoy this father to a daughter experience?
Again, providing the context. The clip that I got sent skipped this part. Him being a father in real life isn't actually relevant to all of the reasons why people are pissed. So, kind of like right off the rip, he's dodging accountability again.
Wow, you pathetic scum of the fucking earth. What a little rat bastard you are. And the irony, the irony is that, yeah, I am a father in real life. That should tell you something, because I know these niggas is fatherless.
And this is another take that he got under fire for. Basically, when the origin and the root cause of all of the real misgivings in the story seem to appear from him imbibing too much liquor across his playthrough and saying a bunch of crazy shit that he himself took back, he himself realized he got caught like a deer in headlights after he realized how bad some of the stuff he said was, he's now blaming the audience.
I know they got fatherless behavior.
Like I said before, a lot of people look at this, they looked at this response and they said, oh, look at him dodging accountability again.
And I know some of these other people ain't got no children, so they don't understand jack shit about a father and a daughter. And here's the funny thing, bro.
I'm the only one that should be praised for understanding the dynamics between children and parents in a story playthrough. I'm the only one.
Like, straight up, chat, straight up. Here's the funny thing. The reason why I couldn't take the father-daughter shit serious is because the daughter was doing shit no children on planet Earth would ever do.
I gave a hands-off take to this, but I'm going to revise the take to kind of like take the kitty gloves off, right? I gave a take to this in the past where I really gave Gacha Smack an even fairer shake that I'm giving right now. Gave him a lot of like outs for this wild fucking statement that he made. And the reality of it over here is that this just, I'll let the explanation play.
No child on planet Earth gives a flying fuck about their parents sacrificing and busting their ass out.
This just sounds like Gacha Smack was a shitty fucking child. I'm going to be honest. And I think that's how a majority of the player base that looked at this took this outburst over here. They just think he was like a fucking demonic kid. And I'm going to be real. Now that I've seen he's willing to stoop to the level of doxing other creators over gacha beef, I genuinely think he's just a shit fucking person. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to be entirely honest. This is the same guy over here talking about what Aemeath doing, trying to save Rover, crashing out, doing all that stuff is unreasonable, saying nobody would ever do it. Smack, this is the take most people haven't. It's just you wouldn't do it because you're a shit fucking person. That's what people think when they see this explanation. And when you preceded this by calling a bunch of people like fatherless and stuff like that, it's a little bit rough, right? To kind of like, you know, it's a little bit rough to like take in this idea that like, oh, no kid would ever do that. Oh, now you're calling the viewers fatherless, and now you're basically saying your word is absolute and that nobody would ever do this. Smack, people just thought that you wouldn't do this. A situation where a parent sacrifices the world, puts in a bunch of effort, does so many things for their kid, and then the kid doesn't even think about paying them back? Most kids really do want to pay their parents back. Most kids really do recognize the sacrifices that their parents made. Most kids really do recognize and remember potentially any sleepless nights that their parents have, stresses over finances, tears that they might have shed in the dark while their kids weren't looking. And they would care. They would reflect on that, and they would do their utmost in their adulthood to take care of their parents for the future. Think about how many NFL, NBA, sports players that the first thing they do with their paycheck is like buy their parents a house or a car. Smack, I'm personally of the opinion that you would not fucking do that, and probably the first thing that you would do is buy your parents a fucking seat at the retirement home with this absurd fucking response that you made over here. That's what it seems like to me at the very least. Because to make this definitive of a statement, in the context that you saw over here where Rover sacrificed so much for Aemeath, and then you're saying that Aemeath's take is unreasonable? Like, bro. And so it makes a lot of sense to me now, after seeing the actions that you were willing to take, going so far as to dox me over Gacha Takes, defend your moderator doxing me over Gacha Takes, and doing all of that shit. I'm gonna be so for real with, man. This explanation, it lines the fuck up. I think you're just a shitty fucking person. And that's my honest take on the matter. So yeah, like I said before, hey, we might need to play that. We might need to play that previous clip over again. Right? We might need to play that previous clip over again. My brother, my friend.
You stand on it. You're not a victim. You don't say, ref, why are they swinging at me? You don't jump out of the arena and go, hold on, man, this isn't fair. You stand on it.
Because you want to know some of the things that Gacha Smack been saying, ladies and gentlemen? Oh boy, we got some other clips ready to go, right? We already showed he doxed me, he leaking my DMs, he doing all this shit. We got a fun little clip over here. Wait, no, this one is absolute cinema. This is during his NTE livestream.
Why is Saint getting views? He's hate. I mean, he has hate watchers. Yeah. To be honest, though, like, I mean, I wouldn't pursue that path at all.
Sorry, I need to take a... This dude is telling me that I have hate watchers. This is the dude telling me that I am the one that has hate watchers. Gacha Smack has basically just been lying throughout his teeth to protect his own reputation for a drama that he decided to start by doxing me. And now he's just going. He just keeps going. He keeps saying whatever he possibly can. And this is truly where we're going to start talking about why my response was, honestly, some could say it's going too far. Who cares when the bridge isn't there anymore?
Bro ends that, and he turns off that camera and is depressed, guys. I'll be real.
Look at this dude over here looking like the most depressed streamer in the space as he's saying that. This is the same guy that's drinking so much liquor, he admits to not remembering what he even said.
Saint's gonna talk about probably my 3.1 take, probably
where he was drunk as shit.
Gonna talk about some shit I don't even remember from.
And he's drinking so much, he apparently doesn't even remember what he's saying. Or that's what I'm led to believe following this. And this is the guy saying that I'm the depressed one. Smack. If the only way for you to cope doing your job, which is live streaming games, if the only way for you to cope is to drink so much alcohol that you apparently don't remember things, that's what I'm getting from here. How are you the one calling anyone else depressed in the space? This is behavior over here that I would like to consider projecting. Projecting by blaming me for everything, because Saint's the root cause of everybody's problems nowadays. Smack, did I make you drink so much that you started sexualizing fucking furniture? No, I didn't. I didn't make you do that during your playthrough. And frankly, the main thing that I did was give you the space to handle your matters in your own way. And then you decided to, because you were mad over gacha takes, absolutely not respect at all the massive amount of leeway that I gave you over here, especially after you literally leaked my fucking DMs. When it came to this shit over here. You literally leaked my fucking DMs. And I still gave you the space, didn't react to this shit, and of course, I easily could have. But then when you decided to dox me live on your stream, in this live stream over here in front of all your viewers, that was clearly a step too fucking far. And so now we're holding you accountable in ways that you've been dodging this entire time. And so that's why there's going to be Gacha Smack videos, ladies and gentlemen, uploaded daily on the channel. And of course, we're addressing this guy in the most calm, mild way possible. Because that's what's required sometimes when somebody is crashing out to this high of a degree in all of his interactions with me. He goes low, I'll go high. And all I'm doing is playing back his own content and simply speaking the truth on it and not giving him the space and the room to wriggle his way out of accountability like you've been seeing him try to do this entire time. Time to have your wrongdoings, time to have all of the crazy things, right? It's time for it to be exposed into the light.
Well, any well-adjusted individual will tell you that. He turns that camera off and is deeply depressed, bro.
That's a crazy face to make while trying to insinuate that statement. It is a... It is an objectively, it is one of the most ironic faces that somebody could make. Because that's what I'm 99% sure happens to Smack over here. Because why else would a guy need to have a beverage in hand just to be able to do his job? That must mean things aren't going very well in real life, is it? Because alcohol, when it's seen this much and it's impacting your life in this way, most people view it as an escape. So what are you running from? All right, that's going to be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.